The Fungus and Fire concept came about because I was looking at mushrooms while mountain biking through the forest, and they're just a fascinating, weird, whatever they are, creature. They're in their own little ecosystem. And then I was looking at the shapes I was already making out of glass, which is a bowl, and you turn it upside down, you got a mushroom top. And so I started pulling the stems out of the glass, really big ones and little ones, and we were racking our brains for a cool name. I was drawn to the name Fungus and Fire because the fire can both destroy a forest or create molten glass. Or it can destroy a forest and the mushrooms can regrow the forest. And so it's like the duality of destroying and creating through fire. And I have to have fire to create my glass mushrooms, and the forest really needs fire to recreate itself through mushrooms. So I thought that was a great name. So I found this awesome book by Taylor Lockwood, a bunch of really nice photographs of all the mushrooms from all over the world, and that really inspired my color palette. And I just started to layer the colors of different colors glasses. And at first, the colors would touch each other, and it just wasn't giving you that look of the mushrooms. And so I had to start layering the colors between layers of clear, and then you would get these like deep, translucent, you just get this depth of color, these depths of reds and greens and blues. And so we had to, prototype all these colors to figure out how to really replicate the mushroom look. And luckily, I have these molds that give the illusion of all these lines and gills in the mushrooms. And just the powdery nature of the glass kind of lends itself to a chalky mushroom surface. I fell in love with this giant pink mushroom. I think it's from Nigeria, and it isn't quite the pink that you buy, and so I had to mix it with like an off-white. And first one I made, like I said earlier, the colors touched and it looked ugly, kind of got this salmon color. And so I started layering the colors between clear, and that made the pink look really nice. And I just wanted to make them big because I'm just inspired by large museum installations, and that's where I wanted to take it. The pink mushroom was kind of my main focus. It was the highlight. I put everything I had into that one, and that's why it's the centerpiece. What was difficult was to pull the giant stem, because it was about 4 feet long, and we'd never made anything that large. And then once you pull that giant piece of glass horizontal, it's really dangerous because it's 4 feet of hot, burn you glass. And so we were all pretty nervous the first time, but it came out successful. And then we got used to it as we did it. Yeah, that was an exciting time. I made all these pieces. I had a mushroom exhibition back in 2023, and it was such a hit. There was more people that showed up at my shop than any other event I'd ever done. And it was literally like a bit of a anxiety, panic feeling, like, oh my God, there's so many people here. I couldn't even find my friends or my family. And then a week later, people said, oh, John, I was at your mushroom show. And I was like, I didn't even see you. There's too many people. But I wanted to light them up. And I didn't know if I should light them up or if I had time to light them up. And so right before the show, I just, busted them out and put all these lights in them. And I was so glad I did, because it just made them pop. And I knew everyone would ask, oh, do they light up? Because they're all glass. And then that inspired me to just, do this bigger show, bigger clusters of mushrooms. And when it's all dark, they just illuminate, and it's just really cool. So after looking at Taylor Lockwood's book, he photographed these glow-in-the-dark mushrooms, and I had no idea that there was glow-in-the-dark bioluminescent mushrooms. And so I found some glow-in-the-dark powder for these mushrooms, and we tried it, and they looked great. And so I just found the simple way to attach the mushrooms to this piece of driftwood that I found, and then I bought this really great black light, and it lit up. And so I did my best to kind of hide the black light so that all it lights up is the mushrooms. So I was looking for an armature to build the mushrooms on, and steel seemed really heavy and expensive and two-dimensional, and so I discovered the driftwood, and I just love its tumbled look. It's like a tumbled stone, and I went and collected a bunch on the beach. It just fits the mushrooms because they biodegrade the wood and grow out of tons of logs. And so I started collecting it, and it's just beautiful. I just love the way it looks, and it's so tumbled and naturally made. So the beauty of the mushrooms that I first saw in the forest when I was mountain biking, I wanted to bring that beauty into the gallery with the Fungus and Fire exhibition. And so I thought if I could just make them just a knockout, glowing, amazing exhibit, people would be as inspired as I was to continue researching all that the mushrooms can do for the forest and your body and the whole world. And so that is why I tried to make it so illuminated and memorable.